So, climbing on the Smuggler. This is a trail bike, but like on the bigger end of trail bikes, maybe. Anyway, it climbs very well. There's very little pedal bob from the rear. This Float X, it's a Float X, yep, has a climb switch, which I don't really use because it doesn't really need it. Yeah, it's an efficient climber. Suspension feels good. Doesn't feel too long. Feels good. It's compared to the Ripley, right? The Ripley, they feel similar at slower speeds. The Ripley definitely accelerates with a little bit more gusto, if that makes sense. Which is sort of to be expected, but this bike is definitely no slouch. Now, I don't do a lot of climbing while standing up myself, but again, but if you were, again, the Ripley would be better, but this bike still climbs very, very well. I just wish that I had put a carbon wheel set on it because I really miss the ride characteristics of carbon wheel sets for my Evil. But this definitely feels like it's more efficient than the Evil, but not so much as I thought it would be. And I think part of that is the carbon wheel set, just because it feels so, the wheels just feel so light, so ready to move, even if there isn't that much real difference uphill. But yeah, I'm gonna keep climbing now. Alright, bismillah. That I'm still getting used to this bike for a couple of reasons. I think a big one is the tire. I'm not used to having a DHR2 up front, but I've been trying to learn, and these are the widest tires I've ever run on my own bike. My Evil was 2.3s in the front, but anyway, this bike feels so good out here though. It's just the way it hits these corners, but it's very supple. It and honestly, out here at least, oh, that's really bad. It definitely doesn't give up anything to, you know, long. If anything, it just, this is why shorter travel bikes are just so much nicer for these trails, because they're so much easier to get air. But, you know, compared to the Ripley, this feels just so much more comfortable to me than the Ripley at higher speeds. And obviously I've had more time to work with mine than I did with the Ripley, but it feels a lot more confidence inspiring. You can definitely tell it has more travel, in a good way. So really, I mean, this bike, it feels really, really nice on these faster, kind of floorier trails that we have here in this part of California. I won't even say that, I'll say in this part of the Bay Area. It pops super nicely. Again, doesn't feel like it really gives much up to the Ripley there. Corners very well. Really, it has 99% of the positives of the Ripley without really any of the drawbacks. That sort of makes sense. Yeah, that was just a quick, that was the flowy part of the trail. Yeah, it feels natural to me. I still want to lower the front end a little bit, in retrospect. Still have a lot of spacers on there, but it feels really, really good. All right, it's gonna be really blinding for you guys, because the sun's right here, obviously, but, well, we're just gonna have to live with it, aren't we? I'm also in my lowest gear, so it's gonna be a little bit awkward. But I believe that we shall prevail. Oh, wow, it is. Let's go with the rock. Easy. 29er wheels, man. Box. I'm new to this whole 29er thing, so you'll just have to bear with me. That's the thing, though. See, I don't notice any of the really downsides of 29er on these trails. Like, I really don't. So it's a good thing. But anyway, this bike, so I want to talk about the rear linkage for a little bit. No worries. Yeah, so it's like kind of between the Evil and like my Insurgent, and as far as progressiveness, and like the Rip Mo V1. It's like right in the middle. So it's not, it feels pretty progressive, but it's also not, it doesn't feel like it has way more travel than it actually has, which was the feeling I got with the Evil. But it still has, it's a good balance, I think, for most people, especially for a trail bike. So when I'm riding it, it doesn't feel like I have 150 millimeters of travel in the rear, but I'm also not being bogged down at all. I'm gonna stop and talk really quick. But yeah, what else can I say? Yeah, so it feels like 130, 140 in the rear sounds about right. It definitely feels like it's a step up from the Ripley, right, as far as travel-wise. But yeah, what else? Compared to the Sentinel V1, I have not ridden the V2. This feels like a completely different beast. The Sentinel V1 felt like a very, very big bike. I felt like it had a lot more travel than it had, right? You know, I like had 140, 145 in the rear, anything. Anyway, this thing, it feels like just a really, really good trail bike, which is kind of weird. See, because when it says Transition on the side, I thought I was gonna get on it, it's gonna feel like a big plowy bike, right? But it doesn't really feel like that. It feels great. I mean, that's not a negative. That's not a downside. But it's just a cool thing about it, right? It just, I don't know. It works really well. I don't know what else to say. But yeah. If you just want like a do-it-all trail bike, this thing just kicks butt. All right. Yeah. It just does, it's exactly what I want. Just really a bigger Ripley, a more confidence-inspiring Ripley. It's so overgrown here right now. Wow. I'm usually flying through there, but oh yeah, I also set my fastest time here last time on that little part. Hit 35 miles per hour, which is okay. Not bad. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'm really, really happy with it. It's just, I can't recommend it enough for somebody that just wants a fun bike that, you know, can really rip around, but can still take on, let's be realistic here, 90% of people's everyday riding. I mean, unless you're riding bike parks all the time. Whew. Yeah, I really do love this bike, and I'm really just look at that color. Whew. Oh, isn't she beautiful? And I'm really looking forward to getting it dialed completely. But yeah, it's feeling good. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Okay, so just wanted to quickly summarize my thoughts on the Transition Smuggler 2023. So obviously this was a custom build. I've had a lot of fun on this bike. I'm still working on a couple of little tweaks here and there. I want to lower my stem height a little bit. I still have about 30 millimeters of spacers under there for some reason. But I will get around to that soon. I just wanted to quickly give a shout out to the suspension. So I am running a Fox 34 Performance Elite on the front, Grip 2 damper. Sorry, not a Performance Elite, a Kashima factory model. It feels amazing. It feels really, really good. It feels so much better than the old 34. It feels much closer to my old 36 factory. And the Flodex also feels really, really good on the back. This is a wonderful bike, and I honestly think it's everything that I want in my one do-it-all bike. And I think it unseats the Ripley as my favorite bike. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll catch you next time. Sayonara.